Welcome. Today we're going to be looking at an overview of the Acumatica Generic Inquiries Fundamentals. Part 1. Generic Inquiry Fundamentals. Let's begin with the user settings. Allocating the report building roles. These are the minimum role selections that are required per user in order to build the report. These include Customizer, Dashboard Designer, and Report Designer. Search shortcut. For example, INQ will take you to the inquiry screen. The profile we are looking to work on is the generic inquiry. This will be the report that we would like to work on. You will now see what the generic inquiry screen looks like. Highlighted in the green block, you will see the various tabs that are used to build the report, namely tables, relations, parameters, conditions, grouping, sort order, and result grid. Highlighted in the orange block, you will see two tabs that offer additional functionality that can be added post-report. These include entry point and navigation. For demo purposes, we have numbered the various tabs that we'll be explaining. If you're not familiar with SQL, this is an example of a standard SQL script. Let's begin by looking at a direct comparison between generic inquiry and SQL. On the screen, we have applied the breakdown of the generic inquiry builder. Each numeric value correlates back to its allocated tab from the previous slide. The Tables tab. Here we'll select the relevant tables that are required in order to build your report within Acumatica. Relations tab. You'll see that we have labeled the screen into Part A and Part B. Part A represents the table-to-table joins. Part B represents the column-to-column joins. Looking back at our SQL script, here you're able to visualize section 2A and 2B of the Relations tab. Parameters tab. Please note, parameters are usually used once the report has already been built. Parameters are filters used on the results screen. Firstly, look at the column with the column name. Here, the name must not have any spaces. Secondly, we jump and look at the display name. Here, spaces are allowed. Thirdly, the schema fields. This determines how your parameters will function. This can either be in the form of a date, number, or word. The screen you're looking at is an example of a report. Highlighted in the red block, this is what we refer to as the parameter. Conditions tab. Conditions represents the where clause in a SQL statement. Looking back at our SQL script, here you are able to visualize the where clause section. Highlighted in the first red block are the parameters and conditions. Please note your parameters must be connected to a condition, otherwise they will not work. Moving to the second red block, once a parameter has been declared, this is an example of a working connection between a parameter and condition. This is the Acumatica way. Grouping tab. This is the group by section in SQL. Here, you group by your most important fields relevant to the report you're building. Sort order tab. This is where you sort the order in which you would like to see the results. Results grid. This tab will give you the columns you wish to select to see in your report. Looking back at our SQL script, this is what your column selection would look like in SQL. Please note, when using the results grid for the first time, select the highlighted red block column configuration. Here, you move all available columns to the right under the selected columns using arrows. Now you can see we have moved all the available columns to the right under selected columns. There are no longer any hidden columns. On the right-hand side of the screen, highlighted in orange, you can now see the three columns from our example that were previously hidden have now been added to the end of the report. Under the captions column, you are now able to rename your columns. For example, test test. See, the column heading changed to test test. When you want to go back to edit your generic inquiry, Select Customization and edit Generic Inquiry. As previously mentioned, highlighted in the orange block, you will see two tabs that offer additional functionalities that can be added post-report, namely Entry Point and Navigation. On this slide, we're looking at the Entry Point tab. On the left, click on the magnifying glass to view the entry screen that you want to find from the sitemap. When you want to view a report first instead of the entry screen, then tick the box on the left to select Replace Entry Screen with this Inquiry In menu. Navigation tab. The Navigation tab is where you're able to add hyperlinks to certain columns. For example, on the screen, at point A, doc type and reference number will be linked, and when you click on the link, it will take you to point B, the invoice and memo screen. As you can see, the hyperlink has been added. Part 2. We're now going to look at the sample process of how to select the columns and tables within Acumatica to find the data you require to build your reports. We start by looking at the invoices and memo screen. Using the shortcut Ctrl and Alt and then clicking, you're able to bring up any field property menu. We selected reference number from the previous screen and are now looking at the field property menu that has popped up, Element Properties. On the screen, as you can see, the data class has been highlighted. The data class in Acumatica represents the table name 9 out of 10 times. When the table name you are looking for is not represented, you will need to use the view name as the table name. This is displayed on the next screen. As mentioned, the view name can be used when the table name you're looking for is not represented under the table name. Let's go straight to the generic inquiries. Select the plus to add a new inquiry. For this example, we have created the temp table, delete me one. This will be deleted at a later stage. It's just a work in progress table for now. In the table name section further down, we have taken the table we found from the previous screen, namely AR invoice, and we searched for it. On this screen, you'll see the AR invoice has been selected. Here, we can see we have moved straight from the tables to the results grid. This is the quickest technique to move through the tables. On the screen, we are now on the results grid. You go straight to Objects to select your table name. In the Data Field section, click on All Fields to load all the fields available within the tables. You will now see highlighted in red, All Fields function has been loaded to the data field. In the top left, highlighted in red, select Save before moving on. As you can see, now all fields have been loaded. Next, we select the View Inquiry to sample the data. Now you can see we are able to scroll through the data in the table.